Captain Jake Morrison was halfway through his third cup of coffee when the alarm started blaring across the USS Liberty. He sighed, set the mug down, and glanced up at the main screen. What he saw made him squint. Floating above Earth, shimmering like giant diamonds in the dark void of space, were 300 alien ships. Lieutenant Lisa Parker spun around in her chair, trying very hard not to laugh. "Sir, we're getting a message." Jake raised an eyebrow. "From the disco balls out there?" "Yup." "Well," Jake said, "let's see what they want." The screen flickered and filled with the image of an alien who looked like it had walked out of a sci-fi fashion show, tall, with 4 arms, glistening purple skin, and draped in ornate golden robes. Its voice was deep and formal, like it practiced speeches in the mirror. "Greetings, primitive bipeds of the third planet," it intoned. "We are the Galactic Hegemony, rulers of 47 star systems. You will now submit to our benevolent rule and join our glorious empire." There was a pause. Jake blinked a few times and looked around at the bridge crew. Commander Rick Davis raised an eyebrow. Lisa was clearly biting the inside of her cheek to stop from laughing. Even Bob Wilson, their no-nonsense chief engineer, had a smirk. Jake leaned forward and pressed the mic button. Thanks for the offer. But we're good." The alien's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. "What do you mean, you are good?" "I mean, thanks, but no thanks. We're doing just fine without an empire telling us what to do." There was a long pause on the alien side. It seemed to be talking to someone off-screen, probably checking if the translation software was broken. Then it faced Jake again. "I am Admiral Stoll of the Hegemony. Perhaps you misunderstood. We offer protection, guidance, and the honor of joining a civilization far superior to your own." Jake gave a polite smile. "Yeah, that's very generous. But we like doing things our way. Independence and all that." "Independence?" The alien said the word like it was chewing on something sour. "You cannot survive alone. The galaxy is full of threats beyond your comprehension." Commander Davis jumped in. "We've got wars, diseases, natural disasters, and politicians. If we can survive that, we'll manage whatever else is out there." The bridge chuckled. Even the Admiral seemed a little thrown off. "You make jokes in the face of galactic domination?" the alien asked, clearly baffled. "Oh, we make jokes about everything," Lisa added. "It's kind of our thing." The Admiral's skin was turning darker now, clearly a sign of anger. "Perhaps a demonstration is necessary. We possess weapons capable of destroying entire planets." Jake leaned back, unimpressed. "Well, that's not very neighborly. We've got weapons too, you know. Ever heard of nuclear bombs?" "Primitive technology," the alien scoffed. "Sure, but we've got a lot of them," Jake said. "And this little concept called mutually assured destruction. You nuke us, we nuke you. Nobody wins." The Admiral stared. "You would destroy yourselves rather than submit?" Jake shrugged. "We'd rather not destroy anyone. But we're not really into the whole submission thing. Had some bad experiences with that, historically. This is illogical. We offer you paradise, structure, purpose, order." "We already have purpose," Jake said. "We explore space, make art, fall in love, and try to figure out how to make pizza taste better in zero gravity." "Pizza?" the Admiral asked. "Yeah. It's food. Flat, round, with cheese and tomato sauce. Sometimes other stuff. It's delicious." The alien delegation conferred again, now sounding like a chorus of angry cats arguing. Finally, Admiral Stoll turned back to the humans. "We will give you time to reconsider. But understand this, the hegemony always gets what it wants." "Sure," Jake replied casually. "Take your time. We'll be right here." The screen went dark. Silence returned to the bridge. Should we be worried? Lisa asked quietly. Jake looked around at his crew. These were good people. People with families, dreams, and futures. Probably. Maybe, Jake said. But worrying doesn't solve much. He turned to Bob. How are we looking on defense? Bob grinned. All systems green, Captain. And I've got a few tricks those fancy ships haven't seen. Rick, patch me through to Earth Command. They'll want to hear about our new galactic neighbors. Already on it, Davis replied. Jake took another sip of his coffee. Cold now. Still decent. He stared out at the alien fleet, still hovering out there like a sparkling chandelier made of warships. Lisa's voice broke the silence again. You think they'll attack? Maybe, Jake said. Maybe not. But if they do, he looked back at her, calm and steady. They're gonna find out something about humans they probably didn't expect. What's that, sir? We don't like bullies. And we really don't like being told what to do. Out in the distance, the alien ships began shifting into formation, about 1,000,000 kilometers out. Not too close. Not too far. Just, watching. Looks like they're going to think it over, Davis observed. Good, Jake said, standing up. Gives us time to order pizza for the night shift. I have a feeling it's gonna be a long week. As the USS Liberty continued its orbit, Jake Morrison couldn't help but smile. Somewhere out there, an alien admiral was probably having the worst day of his 800-year career. All because a bunch of humans just couldn't stop being themselves. A week went by. No news. No threats. No attacks. Just the alien fleet sitting out there, silent and sparkly. Then, finally, a message blinked onto the USS Liberty's main screen. Admiral Stoll appeared again, looking composed. Sort of. We request a formal diplomatic meeting, he announced. We will send our most accomplished cultural expert to negotiate your peaceful integration into our empire. Jake gave a relaxed nod. Sure thing. Where'd you want to meet? We will construct a neutral station in orbit. It will be ready in 3 of your Earth days. Jake glanced at Commander Davis. Davis gave a shrug and a look that said, why not? Sounds fair, Jake said. We'll be there. 3 days later, the aliens unveiled their version of a neutral meeting space. Calling it impressive would have been underselling it. It looked like a floating crystal palace, glass towers, glowing spires, light displays that sparkled like a diamond stuck in a rave. Ships moved in perfect formation around it. The whole thing screamed, we are very important and know how to throw a party. Earth's delegation, on the other hand, was more minimalist. Secretary of State Mary Collins led the team, joined by General Pete Rodriguez and Dr. Amy Watson, a leading expert in alien biology and diplomacy. Their shuttle was plain, their uniforms practical, and they brought no banners, no trumpets. Just a thermos of coffee and some backup flash drives. When they arrived, they were greeted by a literal parade. Dozens of aliens lined the docking bay. Guards in shiny armor, musicians playing weird instruments, and officials carrying banners like they were attending the Galactic Olympics. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Creetall. He was even taller than Admiral Stoll, with robes that looked like they were made from a jewelry store explosion. Welcome to this historic moment, he boomed. Today begins your species' journey into the greater galaxy. Mary smiled, polite as ever. Thanks for having us. Lovely place you've built. They were led through immaculate halls lined with alien art. Everything was spotless, symmetrical, and organized with almost terrifying precision. Eventually, they entered a grand meeting chamber with a table big enough for 100 people. On it were thick books, galaxy maps, and contracts, written in gold ink, of course. Ambassador Cretal gestured to the stack. This is our standard integration treaty. It contains 847 pages outlining the terms of your membership in the hegemony. General Rodriguez gave a low whistle. That's a lot of fine print. Indeed. It covers tribute payments, loyalty oaths, military service, and cultural adaptation protocols. Mary reached into her bag, pulled out a single sheet of paper, and laid it gently on the table. What is this? Cretal asked. Our response, Mary said. The paper read, Earth respectfully declines your generous offer. Have a nice day. Humanity. The ambassador stared at it. Then read it again. And again. His advisors crowded around in a hushed panic. This is not how diplomacy works, Cretal stammered. There must be lengthy negotiations. Formal ceremonies. Gradual processes. Why? Dr. Watson asked, genuinely curious. Because that is how it has always been done. That's how you do it, Watson said. We do things a bit differently. But we have brought gifts. Technology far beyond your understanding, the ambassador exclaimed. Like what? General Rodriguez asked. The aliens perked up. Finally, something they were prepared for. They launched into a full demonstration, faster-than-light comms, energy shields that could protect entire cities, and food machines that created any dish out of raw matter. The humans watched politely, clapped at the appropriate moments. Very impressive, Mary said with a diplomatic smile. Would you like to see some of our tech? Dr. Watson pulled out her phone and held it up. This is a smartphone. I can talk to anyone on Earth, play games, order food, watch movies, read books, and access the total sum of human knowledge. The aliens leaned in, fascinated. How is it powered? Cretal asked. I plug it into the wall when the battery's low. The wall? Yeah. We've got electricity everywhere. Rodriguez pulled out a tablet. We use these for military operations, tracking troop movements, reading satellite feeds, coordinating everything. An alien advisor asked, how do you manufacture such advanced tools? Factories, Mary replied. We've been mass-producing tech for over a century. Everyone has one of these. Now it was the aliens' turn to stare. This is impossible, Cretal muttered. Such infrastructure would take millennia to develop. We've been busy, Dar. Watson shrugged. She wandered over to examine the alien food printer. This thing rearranges matter, right? At the molecular level? Yes, Cretal said proudly. Cool. We have 3D printers that do something similar. This one here prints chocolate. She showed them a photo. Chocolate? Yeah, it's food. Sweet. Delicious. We eat it for fun. Cretal was starting to look a little rattled. You speak often of fun. What is the function of fun? Rodriguez chuckled. Fun is the function. Life's short. Gotta enjoy it. But without purpose, how do you maintain order? We have rules, Mary said. Don't hurt people, don't take their stuff, try not to be a jerk. That about covers it. Cretal blinked. No central authority. No enforced structure. Not really, Watson said. People mostly want the same things, safety, family, pizza. You give them that, they usually play nice. The ambassador looked like he was processing an existential crisis. And why do you resist joining our empire, he asked. You call it liberation, Watson replied, but we call it control. And we like being free, even if it's messy. What is the goal of such freedom? Rodriguez gave a grin. To love, to create, to mess up and try again. Maybe build a pizza oven on the moon. Who knows? The meeting dragged on, more and more surreal by the hour. The aliens couldn't understand why the humans preferred chaos over order. The humans couldn't grasp how the aliens had never heard of chocolate. Eventually, Kretal stood up, bewildered. We will need time to consider this. Your species is very unusual. As the delegation prepared to leave, Dr. Watson asked one final question. What do you do for fun in the hegemony? Kretal frowned. Fun is not necessary. We have purpose. But, what makes you happy? Kretal paused for a long moment. I do not understand the question. On the way back to Earth, the human delegation sat in thoughtful silence. That was kinda sad, Dr. Watson said quietly. Yeah, Rodriguez agreed. 800 years of galactic conquest and they've never learned how to smile. Mary stared out at the stars. Maybe that's what we're here to teach them. Dr. Watson turned to her. Teach them what? Mary smiled. That maybe, just maybe, they're the ones who need to be liberated. Admiral Stoll was not in a good mood. The diplomatic meeting had been, in his words, a colossal embarrassment. The humans had rejected their empire, not just with boldness, but with laughter. The ambassador had come back asking bizarre questions about comedy and happiness, and Director Velmuth had locked himself in his quarters muttering about meme stocks. Enough was enough. Prepare the stellar destroyer, Stoll commanded from the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. Let us demonstrate what happens to those who refuse our generosity. Within the hour, the alien fleet repositioned around a medium-sized asteroid orbiting not far from Earth. It was the size of a small city and spinning gently in the void. Admiral Stoll's face appeared again on Earth's comms. Humans of the third planet, he declared. You have refused peace. Now behold the force that has brought 47 star systems to their knees. Witness your fate should you continue to resist. Back on the USS Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison was sipping a fresh cup of coffee. Lisa Parker glanced at the tactical screen. Looks like they're warming up something big. Should we move back? Jake waved her off. Nah. Let's see what they've got. The alien fleet began to glow. Energy surged between ships in arcs of violet lightning, creating a lattice of brilliant light. It was stunning, like fireworks laced with thunder. Even Commander Davis was impressed. You've got to admit, that's a hell of a light show. The aliens spent a full hour building up energy. Power flowed like rivers through the vacuum, pulsing and humming with destructive potential. Finally, with a triumphant roar from Admiral Stoll, the weapon fired. A blinding beam of energy, wider than a skyscraper, lanced out and struck the asteroid. It exploded into dust. Glorious, sparkly, interstellar dust. The alien fleet stood motionless, waiting for the humans to panic, surrender, beg. Instead, Jake's voice came through on the open channel. Not bad, he said casually. Wanna see something cool? Before Stoll could reply, another ship appeared near a second asteroid. It was underwhelming. A rust-covered human mining vessel, all dents and scratches, affectionately named the Betty Sue. A voice crackled over the line in a slow southern drawl. This is Captain Roy Tucker of the Betty Sue. Y'all wanna see how we clear out space junk? No build-up. No glowing lights. No thunderous drama. Just a click. And the asteroid vanished. No explosion. No debris. It just disappeared. The alien fleet fell dead silent. Admiral Stoll leaned forward, whispering, "What was that?" Jake chimed in, "Experimental matter displacement drive. Been using it for space debris cleanup." "How is this possible?" A new voice entered the channel. Dr. Sarah Kim, calm and chipper. "Oh, hi. I designed it. It manipulates the quantum field and shifts matter into a parallel space. Took a bit to get the math right, but once we nailed the resonance harmonics, it was just hardware. Stoll stammered. That is a weapon of unimaginable power. Dr. Kim blinked. Weapon? No, it's a trash compactor. We got tired of space junk hitting satellites. You could use it to destroy anything. I mean, technically. Sure. But that's wasteful. It's much better for clearing orbital lanes. Roy jumped back in. We got a smaller version back on Earth we use for clearing tree stumps. Works great. You have tree stumps? Oh yeah. Big ones. Nightmare to dig out by hand. Sarah's gizmo just makes them disappear. Sarah added cheerfully, we're developing a bigger one for Mars terraforming. Hoping it'll move small mountains. Mountains? Stoll gasped. Little ones, Roy clarified. More like big hills. Still pretty handy. Back on the Liberty, Parker squinted at her screen. Captain. I think the aliens are panicking. Several ships were wobbling in formation. Alien comms were full of frantic chatter. Some looked like they were trying to leave orbit. Jake leaned forward. Admiral, everything okay over there? There was a long pause. Then Stoll spoke, his voice strained. How long have you had this technology? 8 months, Dr. Kim said. First prototype worked last winter. And you use it, for trash. And construction. And mining. Roy uses it for landscaping. We spent an hour charging a weapon to destroy one rock. Jake chuckled. Roy cleared one in 3 seconds. And he did it while holding a sandwich. Davis leaned in. Sir, I think we broke them. Jake nodded. Looks that way. Stoll finally spoke again. We must consult our superiors. The fleet will withdraw to reassess these developments. Take all the time you need, Jake said. We'll be right here. As the alien ships pulled back, the humans relaxed. Roy and Sarah were still chatting about displacement drive upgrades. Probably giving the aliens another headache. Think they'll come back? Parker asked. Oh, they'll be back, Jake said. But I think next time they'll knock first. 2 weeks later, Earth got another visitor. Director Velmuth had returned. But not with a weapon, or a demand. He brought paperwork. So much paperwork. His ship carried clerks, accountants, and bureaucrats from across the hegemony. Maybe, just maybe, drowning humans in red tape would succeed where lasers and diplomacy had failed. Humans of Earth, he announced solemnly, I am the Chief Administrative Officer of the hegemony. I come to explain the practical benefits of Imperial membership. Jake, ever the gentleman, nodded. Sure. What do you need? Your financial and administrative officials. We have much to discuss. Enter Karen Brown from the Department of State and Dan Miller from Treasury. They brought notebooks, pens, and sandwiches. They arrived to find a conference room that looked like a filing cabinet had exploded. Charts, graphs, scrolls. Velmuth wore 3 pairs of glasses and carried more clipboards than any one life form should. Let's begin, Velmuth said, rolling out a 20-foot chart. Imperial healthcare spans 47 systems with standardized treatment protocols. Karen sipped her coffee. Okay. How do you handle pre-existing conditions? Form 847B, submitted in triplicate. Approval takes 6 to 18 months. Yikes. We do universal coverage. Free at the point of service. No forms. Velmuth blinked. Free. Dan held up a phone. This app tracks the value of cat pictures. It's worth $40 billion. Cat pictures. People really like cats. Velmuth twitched. They moved on to education. The hegemony enforces uniform curriculum across all worlds. Rachel Green, Earth's education secretary, joined via video. Our kids study what they want. Last week a 12-year-old built a fusion reactor for a science fair. A 12-year-old? She learned how on the internet. Free content? Yup. Anyone can access it. Velmuth was sweating now. Finally, they got to government structure. Our emperor is Korvac the Eternal, Velmuth said proudly. He inherited the title 800 years ago. Karen asked, and if people don't like him? Velmuth looked confused. He's the emperor. That's not a thing. Dan smiled. We vote. Every few years. If we don't like our leaders, we replace them. Velmuth dropped his clipboard. People choose. Yep. We argue a lot. It's messy. But it works. The alien was now visibly shaking. Citizens governing themselves, this is madness. Karen nodded. And it works surprisingly well. Velmuth slowly gathered his papers, face pale green. I must report back immediately. This planet is far more dangerous than we thought. Dangerous? Dan asked. Why? Velmuth's eyes were wide. Because you don't need us. As his ship took off in a flurry of bureaucratic retreat, the humans finished their sandwiches. Well, Karen said, that went better than expected. Dan raised his coffee. To freedom. Rachel's voice chimed in from the screen. Freedom scares the hell out of people who've never had it. And out in space, the galaxy was starting to learn just how scary, and powerful, that freedom could be.